Funny Games, or another. Oh no, he was up. He was also in Ohio for another Toy-Hio convention. It was a convention called Toy-Hio. He just did a YouTube video for his channel when he was at Toy-Hio. So
what if we can briefly interview Danhausen and be like, Dan, if we can find him, be like, would you mind if I ask you a question real quick for our TikTok?
A quick interview, a one question interview for our TikTok / our podcast TikTok. For those of you who aren't in the AEW wrestling world, just go look up a guy named
Go look up Dan. Lex, who does not like wrestling, actually likes Danhausen and cares about Danhausen.
Yes.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We've been rambling for a little bit. We are recording on a day that we do normally record.
No.
And so the energy is going to be a little wild today.
It's going to be a little wild.
It's hump day.
It's hump day.
It's Wednesday, my dudes.
That's actually one of my favorite memes.
That is a fantastic meme. But yes, welcome to Our Haunted Backyard, the podcast where we talk about country road cryptids, small town spooky, and other local legends. I should actually face the microphone.
Yeah, there you go.
When I'm talking, it'll sound better.
And just in case you forget all your, you memorized our tagline, but we have business cards now.
Like we're fancy or something.
We're fancy. We're gonna leave them strategically in places so other people can find our podcast.
Hidden in Easter eggs, literal Easter eggs, all over the cities.
Yeah,
all cities.
They're
gonna be sky dropped
everywhere. Just we rented a plane. We're just dropping all of the Easter eggs with little parachutes.
Just little tiny
parachutes. Just throwing them off.
So yeah, if you find one and it's golden, that means we're gonna stick you in Helltown.
I was
just leave you there.
My first thought was, if you find one and it's golden, that means you found the gold one, and that's it.
So we got to do some kind of contest.
True.
Got to get that the SEO synergy.
The Willy Wonka was basically killing kids.
That's exactly what he was doing. Have you ever read the book?
I have never read the book.
It's so much darker.
Is it worse?
Yeah, it's not. They do all survive.
Yeah,
but not happily.
But great.
Honestly, as much as I didn't really enjoy it, the Tim Burton version is actually pretty accurate to the book. Yeah.
Interesting. Because I wrote off the Tim Burton version. I like Tim Burton, but I wrote off the Tim Burton version when it came out. I wrote it off.
Not like the Willy Wonka backstory that they did. That was all made up.
Yeah, that was weird.
The actual story part is pretty accurate to the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, Charlie's grandpa, whole family, pieces of shit. Yeah. All of them are pieces of shit.
Well, I can't remember. It's been so long since I read the book. I can't remember what causes them to be stuck in bed. Might not even give a reason.
Yeah, because in the movie they give no reason.
Yeah, I think it is basically they're sick and poor.
Yeah,
and they can't afford to feed them well enough, so they can't, the old people can barely move.
Honestly, but yeah, no. In the movie, it doesn't even give you any chance for sympathy. All it does is just Charlie's family and Grandpa is in bed, and then as soon as he comes home with the Wonka golden ticket, I can suddenly dance again.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Is he's so excited to be able to do this that he is miraculously cured.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Roald Dahl's weird.
Yeah.
He was a spy.
What? The director?
Yeah, Roald Dahl, the guy who wrote Willy Wonka.
Oh, the guy who wrote the book.
Spy might not be the best word, but he worked for either the OSS or, which was the precursor to the CIA.
Yeah.
Or for MI6.
Whoa! Oh, wow!
The one that
it's kind of like James Bond.
Yeah, I think James Bond is MI5, which is fictional.
Yeah,
but Fleming, who wrote the books, was in MI6.
No shit.
And I think Roald Dahl's job was to seduce American women and try to convince their husband, get them to convince their husbands that they should join the war.
That's such an oddly specific mission.
I'd have to look that up again, but I think that's what it is.
Oh my god, it's such an oddly specific mission. All right. Oh, you have a new beer.
Yeah, we got a beer today. Today, this is called Nightmare Water.
Oh, dude, I fucking love the can.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I got it. It's the can art is it's the Grim Reaper in a bathtub boat
like
that looks like a zombie.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh wait, yeah, that is a
faucet. Yeah.
And it's from Mason Ale Works in Mason, Ohio.
Oh, dope.
It is. So I remember I told you about hazy IPAs.
Yes.
And how you might like those a little more.
Yes.
I've not tried this one yet, but this is a hazy IPA.
Okay.
A double IPA, so it's a little stronger.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so.
Okay, here we go. Okay.
That's good.
That's good. I actually don't hate that, and I usually don't like IPAs.
It's the hazy IPAs tend to focus more on kind of like that citrus.
It's very
juicy.
citrusy. Yeah, it's very juicy and citrusy.
Yeah, I like that one. That one's very good. It's like a very drinkable.
Oh, it's 100% drinkable.
It's like drinkable in this is 10.5%.
Wow.
Which normally that's super, super sweet.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that actually tastes very good. Okay.
And now we're going to stop digressing and jump into some
spooky emails.
Yeah, we got some emails.
Spooky emails.
Yeah.
I got one pulled up from our loyal listener, Rob Whiskey.
All right, so this is from Rob.
Yeah.
Actually, from a while ago.
Sorry, Rob.
Yeah, we saw it, and then it got, I think because I had read it and then didn't mark it unread.
Yeah.
It just disappeared from my brain.
So sorry, Rob. We love you. Thank you.
But this was, for those of you who remember, Rob gave us some stories about his sister at a sleepover playing with a Ouija board, and bad things happened with that. And they also witnessed either the ghost of a Revolutionary War soldier or maybe just a very lost reenactor.
Yeah. Yeah, the Ouija board slammed up against the wall, and like the planchette just like
slid down.
No, the planchette got slammed up against the wall, and the planchette just like slowly slid down. That's what I remember happening.
So Rob writes that he was able to follow up with his sister a little more about it. So the two stories did not actually happen at the same house. I was mistaken on that. The Ouija board happened at a different friend's house in the suburbs in Hebron, Kentucky. As she described it to me, the planchette, thank you for knowing what it's called, hit the wall with the bottom side where the bearings are against the wall, and it fell sliding down against the wall. Which is not like, well, first off, if a planchette goes flying against the wall, that's kind of weird in general, but like the fact that the bearings are what like stuck to it and then slid down.
Yeah, it's like I pictured that exactly in my mind when I was reading
that's kind of what
story.
I imagined it.
Yeah.
I was like, I wonder what that means.
It's definitely not goodbye.
Did I make the to the window to the walls
You
joke?
did make it to the window to the walls.
I was just about to make it again. I was like, I feel like I probably made that.
I promise you made that joke.
Moving on. The house with the ghost sighting was out in Petersburg, Kentucky. She said she wasn't entirely sure if it was a British redcoat, but she knows he didn't have white pants like the redcoats are typically portrayed as having. That all she remembers was that he was wearing predominantly red and was wearing a hat and carrying a musket and was marching across a hayfield in the woods. She also said that it looked like he was following a dog. That's kind of weird.
That's interesting.
That is, yeah.
That's weird.
That kind of like ties into the continuing theme of there's a sighting of one weird thing and it usually ends up happening either together or closely chronologically with another weird sighting. She named 5 other friends who also witnessed the same thing, so there are multiple people seeing this. She had tried to research the history of Petersburg and the surrounding area herself, but couldn't really find anything relevant. The only info that she had was what was told to her by the friend who lived in the house and this friend's father. The house was allegedly built sometime in the 1800s on what used to be a Native American burial site.
That's check that box.
The house was owned by a soldier, so maybe Civil War, but the red outfit seems odd. As the story goes, the soldier went off to war and had never returned, so the soldier's wife either jumped off the upstairs balcony or hung herself, unclear. The balcony was removed soon after, and the house now has a door to nowhere where the balcony used to be. The only other person in the house when they all saw the ghost was the friend's father, who was downstairs watching TV at the time. My sister has a lot more spooky sightings and encounters. Shadow people. Frequently.
Shadow people.
That's those are not fun.
No.
And he'll see if she has any other good ones to share. That sounds great.
Awesome.
And also, like, thanks to your sister to doing some research. I'll
exactly.
I'll have to look at Petersburg and Hebron together to kind of see what kind of other information we can stir up. We're thinking about, like, we want to keep doing Ohio because there's so many weird things in Ohio.
There's a lot of weird things.
But we're like, okay, we can start maybe like spinning outwards a little bit and looking at, there's so much in Kentucky,
in Tennessee, and Kentucky, and like, there's a lot everywhere, man.
I'm not too sure about like Indiana, but I suspect Indiana.
Oh, I'm pretty
really
sure.
Weird.
I mean, if the '90s taught me anything, and they taught me a lot, there was a whole kids show called Erie, Indiana.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm glad
true.
someone else remembers
I
that.
remember the kid with the gray hair.
God, I'm like, I felt that one in Beetleborgs. I felt like I fever dreamed.
For me, it's Pirates of the Dark Water.
I fucking love
or Pirates of the Black Water.
It's Dark Water. You got it right the first time. I fucking love
and I
Pirates
felt like
of
nobody
Dark
else
Water.
remembered that.
I fucking love that show.
That was such a good show.
It's a good show. All right, our next email comes from an actual old high school friend of mine, Callie. Hey, Callie, thank you so much for listening. She says, hey guys, I was able to catch up on the latest episode, and you were talking about Ohio having a werewolf problem. Really brought back a repressed memory I had from growing up in Carlisle. That's where we went to high school. Especially when you mentioned Germantown, Ohio. Eric, in parentheses, Eric will probably know the road featured in this brief tale. And I do, but here we go. Growing up, I lived by the Spaceship House in Carlisle, Ohio. Do you know what I mean?
I do not. I saw that and I was like, what's the spaceship?
So the funniest thing is my bus, when I would ride the bus to and from school, this route was taken like every day. So I got to see this thing every day. It is when you think of a spaceship house, it is literally shaped like a UFO, like a classic UFO. It's got two circle room looking things on each side, like a left and a right, and then they're connected via tube together. So it's got like two circular things, and there's a tube connecting them. It's really weird.
I'll have to look that one up.
Oh yeah, it's pretty famous. But yeah, I would drive the bus would drive past this thing every day. But yeah, growing up, I lived in the Spaceship House in Ohio. On Fridays, my family would always order Papa John's. We don't support Papa John's. Fuck that guy. But we didn't know that back in like the early 2000s. In Germantown, because it was just a quick hop down the back roads to get there. Again, very valid. It's pizza's pizza. The back road in question, Butter Street, off of 123, when I was little, every time we would turn down the road, my mom would always roll up the windows. She would then proceed to tell me about the werewolf that lurked in the cornfields. Apparently, it was common knowledge to her and other kids growing up in the 80s. As I got older, I would be the one to fetch the pizza. I was always skeptical, and I would leave my windows down. It became a must stop for football games with other band kids when it was spooky and dark to scare me and whomever was in the car. Conveniently close to Morningstar Road, another haunt of the area. I will cover Morningstar Road.
Yeah, I was about to say going through this, I know all of the the butter, like when you mentioned Butter Street. I remember reading about that when I was looking up the Dogman stuff.
Definitely. And yeah, I will cover Morningstar Road. There was a lot of weird shit. That was like the most famous spooky road when I was growing up. Like that was the spooky road. Continuing, I only ever heard strange noises once, of course, at the witching hour. Although I never got to see anything, but I definitely heard something strange in the corn. I always thought it was maybe a white-tailed deer, hog, or a coyote. There's a big farmhouse that has always had a pen near the road full of rehab white-tailed deer, as well as hogs in certain seasons. But both of them can make some strange noises, and they can also attract coyotes, which are definitely possible. I would be curious to know if you guys have ever heard or came across any research solidify my mom's tale, or if she's just feeding me spooky fuel. Thanks for the episodes. I listen to y'all on Spotify, so I can't leave a review, but I already know I gave you 5 stars. It's great having more spooky to add to my work listening party. Cheers, Callie. Right after I read that email, I did some digging, and there are reports back from through the 60s to the 80s of a Germantown werewolf.
Yeah, and they call it the monster of Butter Road.
Yeah,
or the Butter Road monster.
Yeah, and it's around the same time that the Defiance Dogman sightings were happening. It's around that same time.
Yeah, that kind of the broad time period.
Yeah, because it was also picked up by what I'm just going to call very legitimate source of the North American Dogman Project. Like, they covered it on their Facebook group. Like, this was a thing.
Probably just go ahead and do an episode since it's so close.
Yeah.
To, like,
yeah, I literally grew up there.
You grew up in that area, so we
I
could go,
literally grew up
We
there.
should go do some, like, maybe do some recording, like film recording too.
That would be cool. Yeah, I actually would love to, because I kind of, like, I fondly remember that old bus route in a weird way. But I also am just like, my drug is nostalgia.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's a powerful one.
Yeah, it's a very powerful drug.
But thank you so much, Callie. That's
thank you, Callie. Love you so much.
It's really, yeah, we're definitely going to be covering Germantown. Yeah, maybe we could do like a double episode of like Germantown, the Dogman, but also Morningstar.
Oh man,
I've not heard more anything about Morningstar yet.
There used to be one of the legends, if I remember correctly, without doing any research. If I remember correctly, there was the big story on that road. One of them was a farmhouse burning down, and also someone hanging themselves on that road.
Yeah, the ones for me when I was a kid, it was Poland Barn, which is in Kettering. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's literally right next to the elementary school I went to.
Yeah.
That was supposedly haunted. I never really learned that much about it because I was too scared.
Yeah.
But I had just passed by it not too long ago.
No.
And I was like, I wonder what's going on with the Poland Barn. I should look that up.
I think about Morningstar like a lot, but there isn't a lot of research online for it, because that was
that's always so sad.
Really wanted to do it, but I mean I'll do some more digging like around this week. But man, I really want to do an episode on Morningstar Road.
Maybe we should just go ahead like do some episode. You were talking about that earlier about like haunted bridges.
Yeah, haunted bridges.
But we should also like
stuff.
try and find haunted road stories that are more specific than the hitchhiker stuff.
Than the hitchhiking ghost.
Yeah, because those are like those are everywhere. They're kind
Yeah.
of like a standard part of urban legends. But there's some, because there's one like the Bessie Little Bridge.
Yeah,
here in Dayton, where I was going to do an episode about it, but there's not enough outside of kind of the true crime story of it.
Yeah,
but that's like one of the classic like haunted bridges and roads in Dayton.
Don't we have a crybaby bridge in Ohio? Or
we've got several.
I must say, don't we have several crybaby bridges?
That's kind of in the same realm of like the hitchhiker road, or the headless motorcycle because somebody strung.
Oh yeah.
There's, I feel like especially in any town that is semi-rural, has that place.
Exactly. It's like we said earlier, like at an earlier episode. If every theater has a ghost, and if that theater doesn't have a ghost, one will be provided for you. But speaking of stuff, what is the tale you're going to regale us with today?
Breaking news!
Great encrypted news!
There's a Bigfoot.
We have a Bigfoot.
We have a Bigfoot sighting. Not us personally, but real near us. Within the last... We're recording this on...
July 27th.
On July 27th?
Yeah.
So this happened approximately 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I think it was the 12th or 13th. Right outside of Fort Ancient in Lebanon, there was a Bigfoot sighting. Yeah, July 12th this year. Little Miami River, west of Fort Ancient.
Oh, so, okay.
For anyone who doesn't know, Fort Ancient is an archaeological site, a Native American site believed to have been built by the Hopewell culture, who lived in the area from about 200 BCE to 400 CE. Interesting enough, when I was researching Fort Ancient, there was a follow-up culture. So the Hopewell kind of culture disappeared, and they were followed up by what is referred to as the Fort Ancient culture, because they lived in that region. Some archaeologists believe that they were descendants of the Hopewell culture, but that's not 100% settled, I guess. But they are believed to have been the tribe that introduced maize agriculture to Ohio.
Oh, no way!
And they were also likely the builders of the Great Serpent Mound.
Oh, dope. I love that place.
Which I want to go to, but I've never been to Fort Ancient. I've never been to Serpent Mound.
I've heard of it so much. You hear about it a lot growing up in Ohio, Serpent Mound, and I've never been.
Yeah, that might be another one that we have to cover, but also go visit sometime soon.
Yeah.
Fort Ancient, not a burial site, but it was believed to have been used for a variety of social, economic, political, and religious purposes. Called Fort Ancient because they originally thought that it was kind of a fort, but they realized kind of the layout of all of the buildings and they have some earthen wall structures. They're like, the walls are on the inside, that doesn't seem like that'd be good for a fort.
I'm not an expert fort builder, but that doesn't seem like a good fort building.
I'm not a fortologist.
I'm not a fortologist. I built a lot of pillow forts in my day.
So as far as the Bigfoot sighting goes, not a ton of details right now. I tried to follow up on the BFRO, which is the Bigfoot Field Research Organization.
Yes.
I'm on their Facebook page, and I was trying to follow up every day for the last couple of weeks to see what was new. But there was a mother and daughter riding on the bike trail on the Mother's Day off.
Bike trail.
The distance was apparently less than 100 feet away, so like right up there.
Whoa, that's close. Yeah, that's close.
And they describe, the daughter saw it first and then the mother saw it, but they describe seeing a being upright, so walking upright, tall, thick, long arms, solid black colored hair, with texture like a bear. However, it was a flowing walk.
Oh, so it wasn't a bear walk.
Yeah, because bears, if you see them walk on their hind legs like that, it looks like a bear. It's
weird. You can see it's a bear.
And it was not running, and they said it definitely wasn't a bear.
Okay,
which, like, especially at 100 feet away.
At 100 feet, you're gonna know.
Like, that's like right up on you.
We don't have a lot of bears in Ohio, but everybody has the internet. You know a bear 100 feet away. You're gonna be like, that's a bear, and for them to be like, this wasn't a bear.
Well, and especially with the walking part, like the fact that they described it was a flowing, stable, kind of steady walk.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is not what bears look like when they're on their hind legs.
No, they don't.
Yeah, so it was a weird one. The witnesses were not familiar with Bigfoot. Like, they didn't know, they knew about Bigfoot, but they didn't know that much. They didn't know like any of of theories and stuff like that.
Yeah, they weren't. They're not watching any Sasquatch shows on Disney+.
Yeah, so it's not like they're going out there looking for Sasquatch or anything like that.
Yeah.
Unlike me, I was doing that from a very young age.
I was also doing that.
The witnesses were not familiar with Bigfoot. However, later, the mother told the daughter to look at the Patterson-Gimlin film.
Oh,
the
the most famous Bigfoot film ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they said that the creature looked a lot like that.
Fuck.
Which makes me wonder, like, big titties?
A big titty Bigfoot?
Get you that big titty Bigfoot
girlfriend? Didn't that only come out recently where it was like, oh, there's this Bigfoot's got tits?
Oh, no, I think it's become more of a meme recently.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
They always knew that it had breasts, but because the internet happened, and the internet is
a mistake,
a well of horny,
it is.
They latched onto the titties.
It is like I'm like, there's got to be some Bigfoot fanfic AU.
Oh
out
yeah,
there.
Well, at the very least, Chuck Tingle, but
yeah.
Maybe some stuff about that very specific Bigfoot.
But hey, that's credible because like. The fact that the daughter watched the Patterson film was like, oh shit, yeah, that's kind of how it walked.
Yeah.
Like, that's compelling.
That is, the Gimlin film continues to be, like, the most weird piece of Bigfoot evidence, because it is, shout out to Small Town Monsters again, if you've ever watched, they've done, like, almost basically a full episode of their unexplained, unsolved, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but they did an episode almost entirely dedicated to the Gimlin film. They're like, yeah, there's so many things going on with this film that, like, it's hard to say that was a costume, just because there's so much weirdness as far as first off, dim titties.
Yeah.
Second, the way that it walks, the way that you can kind of see the muscles.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, that hasn't been disproven.
Yeah. There have been a number of people who've come out to say, oh, I was the Bigfoot.
Yeah, well,
but first off, there's been a number. There's been more than one.
There's been more than one people saying, like, I'm that Bigfoot in that movie.
And they also they can't produce any evidence of that when they say, oh, I'm the Bigfoot. They don't have the costume. They don't have any photographs. Nothing like that.
Exactly.
And there's also the fact that I think it's Gimlin. I can't remember. It's either Patterson or Gimlin. One of the two. One of them is basically like doesn't talk about it animore. He's like this basically ruined my life.
I mean, I can see it. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Which is another one of those things where I'm like, he doesn't want to talk about it. It made his life hell.
Right.
Why would he do, like...
Why would he purposely go through?
He could just own up to it. He could own up to it and say, hey, it was fake.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Life can't get any worse. So.
Exactly. If it was causing his life this much pain, why wouldn't he go out of his way to dismiss it?
Yeah, so Patterson Gimlin film, I tend towards believing on that one.
I do too.
There's a lot of Bigfoot footage that comes out where I'm like, that's fake, or that's something else.
Yeah.
But that has always been one that has like stuck with me, where I'm like, it's so weird.
It's weird. It's really odd. Yeah, it's just, you look at it and you're like, and the more you look at the Patterson Gimlin film, you're like you can like, oh, it's a costume, but then you really look and you're like, is it? But
and that would be an expensive costume.
Yeah,
like for back then, like
for the 70s.
Yeah,
like the movies weren't even that good.
Yeah,
like they did a movie called Legend of Boggy Creek that my mom and dad like to talk about a lot. And that was basically like Bigfoot as a murderer.
We should do that, like, if we get to, when we get to Patreon mode, we should do, like, a commentary track on...
I would love to, because I've actually never sat down and watched Legend of Boggy Creek.
Yeah, that's one that's been on my list for a while.
Yeah, it's been on the list as well, for a while, too.
Listeners, let us know. Would you listen to episode of us just reacting to Boggy Creek?
Yeah, would you listen to us doing, like, Mystery Science Theater 3000 stuff on spooky movies?
We could even, like, have a little sound of when the movie starts so you can start playing the movie.
Exactly. So you can watch it with us. Like, maybe, so you can, like, always have it, like, oh, maybe I couldn't watch it live, but, oh, I can watch it, like, now, and I can cue up the commentary and stuff. Yeah.
But anyways, there was some of the responses to the post mentioned other sightings in the area. So there were other people who were seeing things around that time. There's also, I forgot to write the notes for it, but there have been multiple sightings in that area throughout the last couple of years, including one on the BFRO website just 2 years ago.
Okay.
This area has a history of these sightings.
Yeah.
I'll keep following up if there gets to be more information. They've not done the final report yet. Unless you are a member of the BFRO, you can't see kind of the in-progress reports. You have to wait until they finish up the reports and put it on the site.
That makes sense.
But I'll post some of the pictures from the website where they didn't get photographs of the creature. Somebody did. But it was obviously a dude in a suit.
Oh,
but
damn it.
They do have kind of like the region.
Yeah.
Like they've got... Like
this is what you sent me.
Yeah, this is the rough area.
Yeah, Little Miami River, yeah.
Like the aerial, they have an aerial view, and then the witnesses went back out to the spot where they saw it. This is the mother did like a little interview and took photographs, or took a video of the space.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's a very densely wooded area.
Yeah, because they wanted to follow the path that the creature went through.
Yeah.
And they couldn't because it was just too brambly, too overgrown.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's a very densely wooded area.
Yeah, so we'll link to these posts.
Yeah.
So you can see them too. But
and the pics will be on Instagram. And
apparently, there is in that area, there's like a big game hunter. Who they're trying, like the people in this.
Oh no!
And the group are like trying to keep this sighting kind of quiet.
Oh no!
Because the guy is like, I want to shoot Bigfoot.
Because there's always a guy that wants to shoot Bigfoot.
It's like the dude from Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah, it's exactly.
It's that French Canadian.
Yeah, I see. Well, I always picture. I don't picture the guy from Harry and the Hendersons. I always picture the hunter from Jumanji.
Yeah, same energy.
Same
Except
exact
one
energy.
One has a pith hat, the other has a beret. So
yeah, same exact energy.
I
actually haven't seen Harry and the Hendersons in a long time.
That was my favorite movie. That was like I've never been afraid of Bigfoot because that was my real first like.
How could you be afraid of Bigfoot if that was your first time?
Yeah, like that was kind of like one of my big first reference points for Bigfoot was Harry and the Hendersons. I'm like, he's a friend.
I don't remember my first reference of Bigfoot.
Like I can't say that is my first, but it's like one of the early memories I have of Bigfoot is Harry and the Hendersons.
Oh, one of the earliest memory I have of Bigfoot or Sasquatch was the Dexter's Lab episode when Dexter and his family went camping and Dee Dee ran into the Sasquatch and she started hanging out with him. She called him Sassy. And
I vaguely remember that one.
And all he could say was, "Wah!" Like all he could say was, all he could say was, "Wah!"
So yeah, that's our Bigfoot sighting.
Sighting.
I will continue to update Bigfoot sighting as information is available. Also, kind of tempted to try and do an expedition with the BFRO. They're doing an Ohio expedition in September.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I might do it. They can be kind of pricey because you have to pay for like the camping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But and if you do a BFRO expedition, you can get invited to join the BFRO. To become a member of the BFRO.
Oh shit!
It is invite only.
It's like also you could you can be a member of MUFON.
Yeah. That would be. Yeah, I want to try and start finding more spooky groups in the area.
Yeah.
To do research. But yeah, so that was the Bigfoot. And this one is a story I found that I wanted to tell because it's so good, and I spent a lot of time in this town when I was younger. It is the ghost of Library Park in Miamisburg.
Oh, I've never heard of this.
I never heard of it either until I was just looking up spooky places in Ohio.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's an Arby's that is very haunted.
Oh, hell yeah! We're on my Welcome to Night Mail fans act.
But at the same time, when I saw that, I was like, "Are all Arby's
all
haunted?"
Arby's are haunted.
But this is one that I found there. I just loved the story. It is Miamisburg, Ohio, not too far from here.
No, not too far from here at all.
I did a lot of theater there when I was younger. It was actually kind of like the first places I started doing theater was with what used to be Playhouse South. That was yeah. We did a show together.
There.
Actually, Eric and I a couple years ago were in a production of 39 Steps, which is from a long time ago. It's a spy thriller book, but then somebody wrote it into a play that's a comedy where there's one actor who plays the main guy. And then there's one actress who plays the three love interests.
Yeah, all three love interests.
And then two other guys who play everybody else.
And we mean everyone else.
And Eric and I are award-winning actors
we
were the guys who did everything else.
We were the guys who played everyone from like henchmen to a husband and wife hotel owners to policemen, to salesmen. It
was a blast.
It was such a blast.
It's a fun show to do.
It really is.
I miss it.
I miss that show so much. It is one of the most Millbrook things I've ever been a part of.
It's
and
a lot
it
of
made me
fourth
so
wall breaking,
happy. Yeah.
And it was a blast. And
it was such a blast.
People loved us.
People loved it. My now fiance came to. Then we were like just kind of seeing each other, but she came to every single show.
Yeah.
She came to every single show, so much so that they put her to work at the concession stand.
Eric was also the entire time being like, should I ask this girl out? I like her a lot. And I feel like we went out to like a Buffalo Wild Wings afterwards.
We did. We went out.
And I was like, so when are you guys
going
to go out?
Yeah, we did. We went out to our co-star would call it a cheeky pint, and he was like, and then they're like, so when are you two dating? When are you two dating? And now we've been together for about 4 years.
And so think the theater.
Think the acting. Yeah. Now we've been together for a very long time.
But yeah, so Playhouse South used to be located in Miamisburg. I did a lot of my first shows out there.
Yes.
Miamisburg, the town, a little outside of Dayton. First settled by Europeans in 1797. Originally it was called Hole's Station. Because like the guy's name was like John Hole or something like that. I'm like, welcome to Hole's Station.
Welcome to Hole's Station. That's just every truck rest stop.
Exactly. It is both like it sounds like exactly what I expect like a prospector to say.
Welcome to Hole's Station.
It also just sounds like, do you want to go down to Hole's Station?
You want to go down to Hole's Station? Ugh. I hated the way I said that.
I can't remember exactly when it was renamed to Miamisburg.
I hope really soon after.
Yeah. But it became a major canal town, much like up north.
Yeah.
With the monster that I'm forgetting its name.
Minerva?
Minerva. Thank you.
Minerva monster.
That 10% is starting to hit me a little bit.
Yeah. It's okay. It already hit.
Much like Minerva, it was a major canal town.
Yeah.
Largely supporting shipments from Cincy to Dayton. Mm-hmm. Later became home to Mound Laboratory, which is something I really, really want to delve into.
Whoa, that sounds weird.
Mound Laboratory is where they developed the neutron generating triggers for plutonium bombs.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
that does not sit with me right.
It was a top secret lab. It is where basically it is these triggers were what would basically make it so the atomic bombs would be as powerful as possible.
Shit. Okay, that's great.
Yes, it's a museum now.
Oh, okay, that is kind of cool.
I do kind of want to go visit it.
Yeah,
I was working for Dayton History.
Yeah. Right
about the time they opened it, but I didn't get a chance to go out there and tour it when I was doing.
Okay, yeah.
But the Mound Lab is named after the ancient Adena Mound, which is directly across from the lab. I've been out to that mound. It's
Okay.
really cool. It's maybe like 30-minute visit.
Okay.
Like including driving out there.
Yeah.
But it is like literally you so there's this mound. It's the Adena culture. It is visible from several miles off due to standing on top of a 100-foot tall ridge above the Great Miami River. It is one of the 2 largest conical mounds in eastern North America.
Damn.
65-foot tall, 800-foot circumference with 54,000 cubic yards of earth.
It's
big.
That's huge.
I walked to the top of it, and it takes like you look at it and you're like, oh, that's just a hill.
Yeah.
And then you walk to the top of it, I'm like, that took like 15 minutes.
That's a hill.
They did some excavations back in the 19th century, which suggests that it was built by the Adena culture based on the pottery and the things that they found in there.
Yeah.
Built in several stages, used briefly as a burial mound, but it was likely also used as a lookout point and boundary.
Got it.
For the kind of like the territory boundary.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you walk up to the top of the mound and then literally like look right across the road and there is this laboratory, very nondescript
looking
just
building.
gray concrete kind of things. And you're like, oh yeah, they built nuclear weaponry there.
That's just spooky. That's really spooky.
Yeah, but it all makes like that's one of the things where I'm like, I need to delve more into the Dayton, Ohio history.
Yeah,
because we got the Air Force Base, so there's like outside of like even the weirder like alien stuff. I'm like, there's some weird geopolitical history.
Yeah, really weird stuff.
To get a little dark and tangential, I went to Wright State University.
Yeah.
Right near Wright Pat Air Force Base. And I took a politics class taught by a professor whose specialty was nuclear politics. And he would go to like the UN and talk about and like give lectures on nuclear weaponry, nuclear power, and stuff like that.
Huh.
And one day we were talking because he's like, okay, this is my specialty, so we're going to do a section on nuclear politics.
Yeah.
We're actually really well placed right here in this building for if there's a nuclear bomb attack. And we're like, oh, does that mean like it's built to survive a nuclear blast? And he's like, no, we would die instantly. However, we don't have to deal with all of the other things that happen after a nuclear attack. Which is like, yeah, that's...
I mean, I would rather die if I had to get hit by a nuclear bomb, if I had to be anywhere near a nuke, I would rather just
100%
poof, die.
Which is, I try not to think about it very often, but I'm like, oh yeah, we live next to like one of the major U.S. Air Force bases.
Yeah.
I don't know how many nuclear bombs are currently pointed at us, but it's probably more than one.
It's probably, I try not to think about that a lot either.
And moving on to happier death-related things. So Library Park. In Miamisburg. It was so the first cemetery in Miamisburg was created at what became eventually First and Central Avenues. In the 1850s, a new cemetery was built called Village Cemetery. Then in 1864, the city founded Hillgrove Cemetery, changing Village Cemetery into what would become Library Park.
Okay.
So Library Park, you can still go visit it today, used to be a cemetery. The city required that the families bear the burden of relocating their loved ones from the Village Cemetery to the new Hillgrove Park.
Oh, that's actually really shitty.
Yeah, because it's like...
you're the one that wanted to make a park.
And we're not necessarily rich.
Yeah.
That's probably going to cost money to dig a body up and have it moved. Plus, we didn't have to deal with the emotional
Exactly.
stuff.
God, yeah, no, you wanted to make it a park. Why do I have to move the body?
So... obviously, because of the both financial and emotional burden of moving a loved one from one cemetery to another, it took a while.
I would imagine so, yeah.
So even by the time we hit the mid-1880s, there's still graves in Village Cemetery, not named Library Park yet, but it was getting transitioned over to a public park. And it was around this time there began to be reports of a ghostly apparition walking the grounds of the Village Cemetery at night. It was a woman in white, very classic style ghost.
Classic.
And the reports continued day after day, and it actually became a bit of a town tradition to gather at the cemetery at night and wait for her to show up. And it was actually more to the point where it was more surprising when she wasn't there.
I love that shit. Yeah.
It was you could set, and I think you could set your clock by it. I want to say it was around 9 p.m.
That's dope.
Is when she would show up. For a long time, I don't know if it still holds this record, but for a while it was it held the record for most reported ghost sightings in Ohio.
Oh, cool.
And witnesses included the mayor, tax collector, and apparently a large number of the Miamisburg upper crust, so the people who owned a lot of the businesses, worked the canal, that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's not just like yokels.
Yeah, it's not... wow.
It is like there are town officials saying like, yeah, I saw this thing.
Son of a bitch.
The identity of the ghost is unknown. However, some citizens claimed that she looked like a member of the Bus family, BUSS, that some believed this woman had been murdered years before. However, according to some of the sources that I use, which the two main sources was a blog called Dayton Unknown and a Facebook group called Booze and Booze, BOOZE and BOOS.
I mean, that sounds like right up our alley.
That sounds, yeah. They apparently also, I guess, they run a haunted Columbus tour that I think we should go on.
We need to go on.
But yeah, so check them out on Facebook. I'll post the links as well. But each source actually had done some research into the Bus claim, and I guess they couldn't find any evidence that there was a Bus family living in the area.
Tragic.
And not even because there are some letters that get easily mistaken in reporting. B's, V's, and D's usually will get swapped with each other.
Yeah.
Nobody could find a dust. Nobody can find a Vus. Yeah, we're not 100% sure who it was. There is some murders and spooky things that happened earlier on in the town's history, but yeah, we don't really know.
No.
However, eventually, like this ghost, even though it was like a town tradition to come watch her, some of the residents apparently were not happy about the visitations, and they decided to take matters into their own hands. And so I am going to read from a newspaper article from, I think, Maryland. I can't remember the exact... I'd have to look up the exact newspaper source, but it's from the time period.
Okay.
It is from, like, 1889.
Okay.
Real life ghost. A graveyard apparition that is scaring a western town. This is also in the 1800s where Ohio is western.
Yeah. I cannot imagine Ohio being western. Wild. It's wild.
Graveyard apparition that's scaring a western town. 1,000 people surround a graveyard in Miamisburg, a town near Dayton, Ohio, every night to witness the antics of what appear to be a genuine ghost. There is no doubt about the existence of the apparition, as Mayor Marshall, the revenue connector, and prominent citizens testified to having seen it. Last night, several hundred people armed with clubs and guns assaulted the specter, which appeared to be a woman in white. Clubs and bullets and shot tore the air, in which the mystic figure floated without disconcerting it in the least.
Oh my God.
They're like...
It sucks to say, but that tracks for Ohio.
I love that. They're like, that ghost!
Get that ghost!
I'm gonna shoot it!
I'm gonna shoot it. Did they at least use iron bullets?
No, I think they're just like, my buckshot. I'm gonna shoot this ghost.
They didn't even have anything iron.
I'm sure there was one nerd who was like, guys, we gotta get some silver.
We gotta get iron because silver only works. Silver doesn't work on ghosts, demons, and fairies. It's iron.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Silver is for werewolves and vampires.
I'm sure somebody had like a bucket of holy water or something like that.
Someone totally had it.
But yeah, the town storms the cemetery.
My God, it's also what's really cool is the fact that the ghost was so reliable in seeing that you had people that were armed to the teeth to essentially try to fight this ghost.
So like, that ghost, I'm gonna fuck it up.
But like, what was to me, it seems like, it's just like walking. It's like, what is the ghost doing to you? Like, what? Why?
Yeah, apparently, I guess it spooked them enough. They're like, this is not a good thing to have a ghost.
But like, it stays in the graveyard. It stays in this park. It's not like coming to your house and taking your kids. So like, just let the ghost be there.
No,
like,
fuck that ghost. I'm gonna fight it.
Let it be.
I'm gonna bite it. I'm
gonna hit it with a club. Like, oh my God.
When I read that, I laughed for so long. Oh my God,
that's funny.
But and the ghost was just like, yeah, and I'm a ghost.
Like, it literally means nothing. I'm a ghost.
And apparently, so continuing the article, the town turned out en masse today, so whichever day they're talking about, and began exhuming all the bodies in the cemetery. So I guess this led to a speed up of the removing, because there's already a process of trying to move the bodies from the cemetery.
Yeah, so they're like, let's fucking...
And I guess, this ended up turning into a speed up process.
Could you imagine just being like, well, we can't hit the ghost, we can't shoot the ghost, we can't hit it with things. How many bodies are left in this place? A good amount. Let's go.
Dig them.
Get them
I'll
up.
shoot the bodies too, just in case. Get them out.
Wow, the fact they had to expedite it because they were just so afraid of this ghost.
They also mentioned the Bus family in this article, which we've already talked about. There's no, but it's hard to say because there's no record keeping back then wasn't great, so there could have been a Bus family, but we don't have any records right now.
Yeah.
So they talk about the bodies being exhumed. Town is visited daily by hundreds of strangers, and none are disappointed, as the apparition is always on duty promptly at 9 o'clock. The strange figure was once recognized by inhabitants of the town as a young lady supposed to have been murdered several years ago. So this is there are more people saying, "Oh yeah, that was the bus girl." And last line, her attitude while drifting among the graves is one of deep thought, with the head inclined forward and hands clasped behind. So you're this ghost.
Yeah,
you got some thoughts. You're like, I'm going to think deep thoughts today and walk through the graveyard.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, all of these townies show up and try to shoot you.
God, you're ruining your day. Ruining your night.
Absolutely ruined night. Look, guys, I'm here. I'm trying to think.
I'm not doing anything. I was murdered, but I don't remember my murderer.
And you got to shoot me?
Yeah.
That may have happened to me once. Maybe I was shot. I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm trying to think about it, and I'm just wondering. Also, I don't know where my grave is.
Yeah.
Because... I don't know where I rest anymore. You guys dug it up, and now I don't know where my grave is.
And now you want to blame me?
Yeah.
Fuck this. I'm going to haunt you all now.
I'm sorry, but I like to keep a schedule.
Yeah. You're going to punish me for being punctual?
Yeah, you're going to punish me for being a punctual ghost? Seriously.
Would you just like me to pop up whenever? It's you're out here having a nice lunch, and I'm just leaning over you and be like, what's in that sandwich?
Yeah.
What's that's 1889 sandwich? That looks like ham?
It's probably. They had ham back then.
No, it wasn't invented until John Ham.
I love John Ham.
Yeah, he invented ham, famously.
I think if I had to be a ghost, what it sounds like that ghost is experiencing is a ritual haunting instead of just an active haunting. I think if I had to be a ghost, I would want to be active haunting, because active haunting ghosts seem like they have their own energy and have their own sentience, I guess is the best word for that. But when it's a ritual haunting, it seems like it's just being a scene being played over and over. And I think about if I was a ghost in that ritual haunting, am I conscious of it happening? And that's just a whole hell that I do not want to be a part of. Reliving the worst day.
It's some Sisyphus shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Actually, if you didn't know, somebody actually wrote a book about you after you die and become a ghost.
Yeah.
And I have it right over there on my bookshelf.
Yeah.
You see, it's leaning on its side.
Oh, it says Harlot's Ghost. You call me a harlot? I mean, because you chose the right box. I just feel really sorry for that ghost if they are stuck in that loop, especially promptly at 9 o'clock. It's time to go wander your grave to find it in a contemplative manner and then disappear and do it all again tomorrow. That sucks. Yeah. That's a sucky eternity.
So it wasn't long after that they moved they got the rest of the graves to Hillgrove.
Yeah.
But there continued to be sightings of this ghost in Library Park well into the 20th century.
Okay.
The last reported sightings I was able to kind of find were the 1980s. I bet if I were to ask around Miamisburg, there are probably people who still see it today.
Probably. If it was that prompt back then, who's to say it's not maybe less now, but who's to say it's not?
Especially if the graves moved or something like that. But
yeah.
It's one of those places I want to go try and go visit that place sometime soon, because it's Miamisburg is not that far away. No. It's a cute little town too.
I do love Miamisburg. I would go to the Dayton Mall a lot in there.
Yeah.
That was my stomping ground.
Yeah. And so we'll have to go hit that up and get some pictures around the Mound
Yeah.
And then I could also show you and there's the laboratory.
And there's a laboratory where they built triggers for nuclear bombs. Like
to make the nuclear bombs better. I'm not a nuclear physicist.
Right.
But it was basically these are these triggers. They shoot out neutron particles.
Yeah.
To make the reaction stronger.
Make it worse.
Yeah.
Like we had this. Here's this nuclear bomb, and now we have this thing that can make it worse. How about we put that in it?
Yeah.
No, humans, no.
Yeah.
Humans, no.
It's nuclear bombs are one of the things I get so freaked out about those so frequently.
They freak me out. Also, don't watch Grave of the Fireflies by Studio Ghibli. Just don't.
It's been on my list, but it's been one where I'm like,
just don't. If you are already afraid of already eked out by nuclear bombs, just do not watch that.
Yeah.
It is incredibly sad and way too fucking real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Instead, just think about ghosts.
Instead, just think about ghosts.
And getting shot in the face by a shotgun, not hurting you because you're a ghost.
Not hurting you because, you're a
But you might
ghost.
be
What do you
pissed off.
care? What do you care? You're a ghost.
But anyways, that's my little story for the day.
I liked those. Those were great.
It was a fun little story. I like the kind of little local legends. We do some of the bigger stories, but it's these fun little things that every now and then I'll come across and I'm like, that's great.
That's what I originally envisioned the podcast I knew we of course would have to cover the big things, but that's what I wanted to uncover with this podcast is the little stuff like that. Just this. These little things.
And then I also, because I like weird connections, I love finding the things where there's this kind of regular haunting in Miamisburg where there's also the nuclear bomb lab.
Yeah, just weird connections.
That's the kind of stuff I thrive on. I'm relatively calm in the podcast.
Yeah.
As far as how weird I can get.
Yeah.
But when I start digging in the parapolitical earth, I get real deep and real weird real fast.
I welcomed it because when we did the Minerva monster episode, and you were like, let's get really weird, and then we did the Dogman episode, it's things are just getting so weird.
I could probably get even weirder. It might not be supernatural weird, but I could definitely I could probably spend a little time researching some stuff and be like, okay, here's the weird shit about Dayton.
The Society of Cincinnati blew my fucking mind.
I did find one potential cult killing.
Oh shit!
That actually took place. That might have taken place in a goth club.
Dope.
But I don't know if I 100% believe it. But...
also it's good publicity for the club.
No longer, it's closed. But
bummer. There's no good goth clubs. If there are, email us. Let me know where the goth clubs are, please.
They're probably all in Cincinnati.
They're probably all in Cincinnati, but still.
Dayton's got a goth scene, but I don't think it's as. I think we had Vex, I think was the goth club.
Yeah, I think so.
And it closed down.
Yeah, damn.
But anyway,
that's
our little weird episode.
Thank you so much, y'all, for listening.
Send us more emails.
Please do. Those are always so great.
I love those. I love that. It's so great to hear stories because that will usually just lead us down to rabbit holes that we keep on digging, like the Germantown one. We're definitely doing
the Germantown werewolf. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you, Rob. Thank you, Callie, for all those.
Review us on whichever podcast thing you can. Give us stars on Spotify or wherever.
On Apple we got to be on Apple, right? Are we on Apple?
We are on Apple.
Okay,
I don't think we get a lot of listens there.
That's fair. No one really listens to Apple Podcasts anymore. It's all Spotify now.
But follow us on social media.
Yeah.
We are, I think, literally right after this episode, about to start a TikTok.
Yeah.
So we'll post a TikTok on here too. But yeah. Thank you again. Mm-hmm. Stay spooky. Stay nice.
Yeah, goodbye.
Goodbye.